In the quiet hills of northern Nigeria stands the remains of Saint Augustine Boarding School for boys. Once it was known for discipline, excellence, and prestige. Today, it's a name whispered only in fear, because what happened here was never supposed to be spoken of again. For years, the story was dismissed as rumor, until two former students returned to the school to make a documentary of their own. What they found was much more than memories. They brought cameras, they brought flashlights, but they never made it out. St. Augustine wasn't always a school. It was built in 1943 as a psychiatric hospital for children during colonial rule. The government later converted it into a boarding school in 1965, but the underground wards were never sealed. Locals claimed that the walls still heard voices of the forgotten children. Every night, the wind carried faint cries through the dormitory windows. At first, the boys thought it was the sound of animals, but then the voices began calling names. Records show that on the night of June 12, 1999, the senior dormitory caught fire around 2:17 a.m. 21 students died in their sleep. The official cause was listed as an electrical fault, but the investigation photos tell another story. Each bunk bed was untouched by flame. Each victim was found sitting upright, their faces pale, their eyes wide open. The autopsy revealed no smoke in their lungs, meaning they were dead before the fire ever started. 20 years later, two old classmates, Ikena and Femi, returned to the ruins. They wanted closure, they wanted truth. Armed with cameras, they recorded everything. Inside, the air was cold. Old furniture was scattered across classrooms. On the blackboard, faint chalk letters still read, "Silence after lights out." But then they heard it, a child's laugh, echoing from the abandoned dormitory. Ikena followed the sound, but Femi stayed behind, filming. That was the last footage he ever took. The police later found one of their cameras in the principal's office. The tape inside was partially damaged, but what could be recovered was enough to freeze the heart of every investigator who watched it. The footage showed Ikena entering dormitory block B. The walls were covered with handprints, tiny, burnt handprints, and in the far corner, a figure was standing, a student, in full uniform, motionless. Ikena called out, "Hello, are you okay?" The figure slowly turned, and what the camera captured next wasn't human. When St. Augustine's was shut down, officials confiscated the school records, but one book was never listed in inventory: the Diary of Father Malachi. Hidden between the pages was a confession. He wrote of ritual sessions conducted in the basement, of using the fear of children to summon divine strength. He believed the spirits of the lost patients were watching over the school. But in his final entry, he wrote, "They no longer obey me. They are angry, and they are coming for the living." When local authorities reopened the site briefly in 2020, they discovered something unsettling beneath the old chapel: a sealed corridor leading to small concrete cells. Inside, skeletal remains of children were found, each with rosaries clutched in their hands. DNA tests identified none of them as students. Not one. The corridor was resealed. No public statement was ever released, but workers claimed that, during the dig, their equipment kept shutting down, and every recording device captured the same faint sound, a voice whispering one phrase: "Lights out." Since the site's closure, locals say strange things happen near the ruins. Cell phones lose signal. Dogs refuse to enter the compound. And at exactly 2:17 a.m., a bell rings from somewhere deep inside the school. Yet no bell tower remains. Some say the spirits of the 21 boys still linger, waiting for their roll call to end. Others believe the curse is older, a debt unpaid since the building's first stone was laid. In 2023, urban explorers tried to document the ruins again. They went live on social media. Thousands watched as they walked through the halls of Saint Augustine's, laughing, joking, daring each other. At 2:17 a.m., the live stream froze. Only one frame remained, a blurry classroom, with 21 shadows standing at the back. None of them belonged to the explorers. The stream ended with a child's voice saying, "Lights out." The explorers were never found. Saint Augustine Boarding School remains closed to this day, overgrown, forgotten, and buried beneath stories too dark to repeat. But sometimes when the wind blows across the hills, you can still hear the roll call echo through the valley. Names of boys who never left, whispers of prayers never finished, and a single command that ends them all: